Pues son las 2 de la tarde y es hora para otro cafecito con el Pastor Jim. It's 2 p.m. and that means it's time for another coffee break with Pastor Jim. I'm sitting here in a hotel room in San Antonio, Texas, where our family's taking a little time off. And I've been thinking a lot about the faithfulness of God. Estoy sentado aquí en una habitación de hotel donde estamos tomando unos días de vacaciones en San Antonio, Texas. Y he estado pensando algo en la fidelidad de Dios. I remember when I was a little child, we would come to San Antonio on vacation and we'd visit the Riverwalk and we'd go to the Market Square, to Mi Tierra. We'd have fun at the Alamo. We'd just have a great time at the zoo and we'd enjoy everything San Antonio had to offer with my mom and dad and my siblings. And God was faithful to us. It was great. Yo me acuerdo que cuando era niño, hace unos cuantos años, venimos a San Antonio con mi familia. Y fuimos al zoológico, fuimos al lado del río, aquí en el centro, a comer. Fuimos al restaurante Mi Tierra, en el mercado. Y fuimos a muchos lugares bonitos aquí en San Antonio como familia. Y Dios era fiel con nosotros. God was faithful to my mom and dad. He was faithful to us as children. And I remember just having a wonderful time together with my family. Dios era fiel para con nosotros. Con mi familia, yo me acuerdo que teníamos muchos tiempos hermosos con la familia. Then I got married. We actually had our honeymoon here in San Antonio. Y nos casamos, Esther y yo, y tuvimos parte de nuestra luna de miel aquí en la ciudad de San Antonio. Just had a wonderful visit here to San Antonio. The only mistake I made is I took my newlywed wife to a movie about the Alamo. And about halfway through the movie, I heard the voice of God in an audible way say, "You idiot!" Because Esther turned to me and she said, "Wait a minute, those are Mexicans, right? Those are Mexican soldiers." And I realized, what am I doing bringing my newlywed Mexican wife to the scene of a U.S. Texas-Mexico battle? So we left and we immediately went to Market Square and had some Mexican food, and all was forgiven. Salimos directo del cine y fuimos al mercado famoso y comimos unas comidas mexicanas. Y me perdonó todo. Pero tuvimos un tiempo hermoso aquí en nuestra luna de miel. Y Dios era fiel con nosotros cuando éramos recién casados. Fiel con nosotros. Fiel en nuestro matrimonio. And God was faithful to us as newlyweds. We had such a nice time together. He was faithful. And over the years, we've come back to this beautiful city. And it just reminds me of how God's been faithful to me and faithful to us as a family. And then faithful to Esther and I as a couple. Y Dios fue fiel a través de los años. Hemos regresado muchas veces aquí en San Antonio, a San Antonio. Y Dios ha sido fiel en nuestro matrimonio a través de los años. Y luego vino Rachel. Y llegamos con Rachel, el recién nacido, aquí a San Antonio, a su primera alberca. Fuimos a un hotel y entramos en la alberca con un tubo de aire con Rachel y casi tenía no sé cuántos meses y estaba en la alberca disfrutando el agua y mirando por todos lados. Era una experiencia hermosa con Rachel. Fuimos al Riverwalk con Rachel, del paseo ahí al lado del río, en una carriola, y Rachel estaba mirando a todos lados. And I remember it was so fun to come with Rachel when she was just a baby. We took her for her first swimming time in a pool. We got a little inner tube and we pushed her around the inner tube when she was only months old. The only time ever she's worn a bikini is when she was just an infant. And she was looking all around and paddling in the water. And then we took her down to the Riverwalk in a stroller and she was looking everywhere, just watching and looking. And then as she's gotten older, we've come back. And remember, she was a little toddler and then she was a young girl. And we've just enjoyed SeaWorld together as a family. It's just been awesome, the times we've had together in San Antonio. Y cuando era niña y luego ahora adolescente, disfrutamos mucho a SeaWorld y los otros parques de diversiones. Y Dios ha sido fiel con nosotros como familia, con Rachel también. God's been faithful to us with our little girl. Now she's a beautiful young lady. I was taking pictures of her on the Riverwalk yesterday. God's been so faithful to us as parents. And it's been so awesome to see Rachel grow up. Es maravilloso ver la fidelidad de Dios también en mi hija Rachel. And I was thinking of Psalm 119, verse 90. And the psalmist says, "God, your faithfulness is from generation to generation." And that's what we see. I came with my parents, came with my wife as newlyweds. I've come with my daughter, and now she's growing up. And God has been faithful to me and been faithful to us. And He's been so good to us. En el Salmo 119, versículo 90, la Biblia dice, el salmista dice que la fidelidad de Dios es de generación a generación. Y es lo que hemos visto en nuestra familia. Era fiel conmigo cuando era niño aquí, era fiel cuando éramos recién casados, y es fiel con nosotros, con nuestra hija ya de adolescente, de señorita. Dios ha sido fiel de generación en generación. Estuvo con mi papá, mi mamá, estuvo con nosotros como una pareja joven, está con mi hija Rachel, y de generación en generación Él es fiel. We've seen His faithfulness from generation to generation. He was faithful to my parents, He was faithful to me, and He was faithful with Esther and I as newlyweds, and then He's faithful to my daughter. Generation after generation we see the faithfulness of God. Hemos visto la fidelidad de Dios en nuestra familia. And I encourage you to call out to Jesus and say, Jesus, I want to know your faithfulness. I want to know your love. I want to be, if you're the first generation of Christians, say, I'm starting a new cycle, and I'm going to see generations of faithfulness in my life too. Clama a Cristo y dile, Señor, yo también quisiera ver generaciones de fidelidad en mi familia. Si eres la primera generación de cristianos, qué bueno. Hay que comenzar un ciclo nuevo de fidelidad de Dios en tu familia, de generación a generación. Just every generation serving and worshiping God. And you know what? When Rachel gets married and has children, He's going to be faithful to her children too. And when they have children, He'll be faithful to their children. And generations that come to San Antonio years from now, that maybe don't even remember me, will know the faithfulness of Jesus Christ. Because Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Y cuando mi hija Rachel tiene sus propios hijos, ellos van a conocer la fidelidad de Dios. Y sus hijos de sus hijos van a conocer la fidelidad de Dios de generación a generación. Y 100 años por delante, cuando visitan aquí a San Antonio, la familia Ost en un futuro, ellos también van a conocer la fidelidad de Dios. I just know that future generations are going to know God's faithfulness. God has been faithful. He is faithful to you. He's faithful to me. He never changes. His love is everlasting. La Biblia dice que el amor de Cristo es para siempre. Él es fiel con nosotros. Dale gracias a Cristo por su fidelidad en tu vida. Thank Jesus for His faithfulness in your life. Señor, te damos gracias por tu fidelidad. Primeramente en mi familia, Señor, y también en las familias de los que me están viendo, me están escuchando. Gracias porque tú eres un Dios fiel, Señor, fiel y poderoso en nuestras vidas, y podemos contar con tu fidelidad de generación a generación. Lord, thank you for being faithful, first in my family and also to all of those who are watching and listening, that we know your faithfulness, your great love to us. You're an awesome God and you love us so much. We thank you so much for your faithfulness. Y te damos gracias por tu fidelidad en el nombre de Cristo Jesús, nombre sobre todo nombre. Amén.